Yes, the end of the movie will make your eyes water. Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I'm the Monio, the interdimensional demon who talks the most about Korean animations on YouTube, and you're on my channel. Lost in Starlight is a new animated feature film from Netflix, a Korean production with high-quality animation with many peculiarities, a unique visual style, and a script that definitely makes your choice in the end. But let's take it one step at a time. First, let's talk about the film's script, which is quite efficient, as it's not the most unpredictable story you'll ever see. In fact, the entire plot of the film is already in the trailer. She's an astronaut, he's a musician, they fall in love and she eventually has to go to space. One of the things that makes you want to stay curious until the end is to see what the film's decision will be regarding what will happen to the astronaut, since there are two main possible paths. The one where the astronaut girl dies and the film ends as a very sad drama, and the ending where she survives and the couple ends up together and happy. In both choices, the film would be somewhat predictable, since many stories have already been told following this formula. But despite being a simple story, the animation stands out in the direction, which manages to create emotional and meaningful moments, in which you really believe in the characters' connection. The film is visually very well done, and one thing that intrigued me was the way the characters move in the animation. In some scenes, it is quite evident that they use some animation technique that is different from the traditional one, and I believe it is rotoscoping, which is when the scenes are recorded with real actors, and the animation is done over a real video. This way, you can include much more realistic movements of the characters' bodies in the animation, which we usually don't see in animes where the drawings are conceived from scratch. I really like this type of animation technique, because it gives a much more natural look, especially in scenes where the characters are interacting, and you need to convey truth in the scene, and this type of detail makes all the difference in helping you connect with the characters. Another highlight of the film is the soundtrack. Since one of the main characters is a musician, there is great care not only in producing the film's original songs, which are very good, but also in creating a story in which the music is a form of connection between the characters, and the musical moments in the film are really very good, especially the final outcome, in which the music is the central highlight and drives the entire scene. It's like watching an AMV on YouTube in which the music perfectly matches the scenes. One thing that stands out in this film is the aesthetics of the characters, especially the way their faces are drawn, which have Korean Oriental features. In other words, you can identify that the characters are Korean just by their faces, even with a relatively simple aesthetic. Although this may not sound like something very impressive, it is a very difficult thing to do. For example, in the film Your Name, which I love, you have very well-made characters, with a very careful design. Due to the visual style that the film chose, you simply cannot identify that they are Japanese. If you put other characters of other ethnicities next to the protagonists, you cannot tell the difference, because in fact there is no significant difference in this sense. In Lost in Starlight, you can tell from the animation that the film is Korean, that the characters are Korean. The film exudes Korea, even though it is a futuristic Korea. And speaking of futuristic, the entire visual aesthetic of the film's settings is simply impressive, both for the animation techniques, which are very modern, and for the result on screen, which is beautiful. Pay attention when you watch it. The settings are extremely rich in details, full of colors, references, and there is absurd care and dedication. You can see that the production was done with a lot of love. Lost in Starlight is a visually very beautiful romance film, with a very good soundtrack, and a love story that is a bit cliché, but well executed enough to move you. If you like these elements, I highly recommend it. But what about you? Have you watched Lost in Starlight? What did you think of the film? Leave a comment, and if you liked the video, subscribe to follow the next content. Until next time my people, demonic hugs.